What's happening, y'all? What's happening? I am Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, and president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome y'all to another live. Yes, indeed. Let me get my things set up here. There we go. All right. For all my subscribers to be the only ones who can say something in the room, I appreciate you. Make join the monetization nation, okay? Make sure you become a part of what makes this thing able to continue. As you can see, I'm representing for the A-Town today. We got a game today. Falcons versus Kansas City. That should be a major game. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see all of it, but I'm gonna try and catch a glimpse of it at least. Naturally, I'm rooting for the home team. It's just having a chit chat with one of the young brothers that help you load up when you're doing this courier thing. And he saw my Falcons gear and asked me, he said, "You think they're gonna get a W today?" I said, "Hey man," I said, "I hope just by default, just being from Atlanta, I always root for them. If they're gonna do right, do right. If they don't, I hate to say it's not unexpected with the way they are still building that team. That team got a lot of work to do still to get to the point where you expect them to win." And I said, they are going to be that team that's going to upset some folk. Maybe this will be one of those upsets. They one of them wild card teams. They one of them teams going to do that wild stuff, unexpected stuff, mess up somebody else's chance. If somebody else gets injuries and stuff, then Falcons going to prey on them. You know, it's going to be that kind of thing. I said, but I still hope they get it. You know, I mean, I want to see that kind of major momentum for them and what that do for the city and everybody be all happy and hype. And, you know, that's always good. So we'll see. And then I mentioned, I said, you're a fan of Colorado? He said, "Oh man, bruh." I said, "Yeah." I said, he was young, he was still in college. I said, "Man," I said, "that was amazing, right?" He said, "Yeah, man, that right there was woo." I said, I couldn't believe he threw one and then he threw another one. I said, yeah, he was determined. He's like, one of them gonna land. One of them has got to land. That was absolutely amazing. Colorado's phenomenal. I don't care what nobody say. as everybody keeps reminding them, all the real sports commentators. I was watching Shannon Sharp and Ocho for his after talk thing that he does, his podcast, and what Ocho Cinco said. He said, "Yo, man, you gotta understand this team was 11-1 last year. To be what they are right now, I mean not last year, but before Prime got there, year before. This is only his second year there, and what he's done for that is incredible. It's like, absolutely. It's just, you cannot take that crown away. It is what it is. You can't. That's just unheard of half the time. Most of the time, everybody knows. Yeah, you get the new coach, you get the new players, and stuff still don't be this good in a matter of 2 years. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and it just shows the brilliance, the chess playing that. As a chess player, I see it when I see how Dion moves, and I don't know if he actually plays or not. I wouldn't, even if he don't play, he'd be a masterful player because he has that mindset of a chess player. And being somebody who plays myself, I see it when I see how he moves and how he sets up his teams and, understands the value of family energy in a team. You gotta have that brotherhood. You gotta have that relationship he has with his players. Like, he's a father and they're the sons, and they respect him like that. So they go out there and they give their all because they want to make dad proud. You know what I'm saying? So, not to mention his actual sons on the team. So yeah, you can't lose no matter what with a team like that. Whether they win technically or not, they are winning as a unit, as a mindset, and they're gonna be a powerhouse for the next however many years he's there. It's guaranteed. I forget what Dion's contract is, but every year he's there, they're going to be a powerhouse. You can just, whether you like them or not, get ready because Colorado is coming steadily. The Buffaloes. Straight up. I love it. So, yeah, that was insane. Because, like, when I checked in on it, it was like, what was it? I think that was when it was 30 whatever to 20 something. And I said, oh, boy. Here we go. What mistakes did they make? Because I hadn't seen all of that. I hadn't seen what made the score that. And I was wondering. I said, man, what did they do now? What are they doing this one? And it's the typical Colorado mistakes that they always talk about it. They like, we got to play like we practice. Like, practice how we play. Like, people do all this amazing stuff in practice and then get out there and he say, I don't see y'all doing the stuff. We ran the drills. You ought to know it. And yeah, it's different when you playing against your teammates versus somebody there to knock your head off. It's like, it's different game. It's gonna be what it's supposed to be in terms of a challenge. So ain't never making it easy for you. I don't care how much you done practice, but you gotta just have it in your head. Look, this ain't your first rodeo. You done been here before. It's like you're already playing other legends, and you've been hit before and you'll be hit again. This is football, so get ready and go out there and do your best. So I hope they're gonna do it, man. I'm proud of them. I think they are going to go to the bowl. At least, I mean, there's so many bowls this year and this time we're in, this era we're in. Like, as long as you have a decent record, you can go to a bowl. So, they've proven they're the best in their division. They did that. That was the win for last night with Colorado. So, I'm betting that they're going to go to a bowl and they're going to make history and win that bowl. Whichever one will have them. I'm sure somebody who knows the likelihood of teams from their division and what kind of bowl they tend to go to would be, y'all probably yelling it right now. I don't know it like that. I don't know which one would be the one they most likely would end up in for their division, but they're going to make it. They're going to make it. You can bet on that. It's coming. It's coming to a new year near you. Yes, indeed. New Year's going to be off the chain. And they played some bowls even earlier than that. I think they start some of them bowls in December and stuff. So we gonna see. We doing what we gotta do to get where we gotta go. Monetization Nation! Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. So y'all can stop seeing me in this orange vest. I ain't got no problem with it now. But I gotta do it. I'll work. But I'm just saying. In the world and showing y'all the world, giving y'all the interviews, going and getting all of the different varieties of content that we cover here. And if you don't know, when I do a lot of these lives, it's therapeutic for me, but it's also informational for you, because what I like to do is I like to brainstorm with y'all. So I give y'all kind of get the behind the scenes, because I'll tell y'all, like I was gonna break down. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna break down show per show for certain content I think I want to do in the near future that I'm probably gonna do immediately. Like one idea I've had this idea for the longest, right? So if you know the channel, you know this is not a one niche channel. This is not a one niche channel. This is not a one trick pony. We don't do one topic, one thing. You know, I don't care how much they say that's what they want you to do. That's a bunch of bull. That's just them trying to make the algorithm easy. I want to make the algorithm explode and scramble the computer and make it all come back to ONYXCON. Okay, so Sauce Sanders, quarterback Sanders, not the only thing I do. So I'm into other. Started talking about how he likes cars and he likes to dress. He got his fashion sense. He one of them, I can't remember if it was quarterback Sanders or the other one on the field. He said one of them said that it grew out of video games. The other one said he still likes video games. So I was just saying, you know, he's saying like I got all these other things I'm interested in, and I don't mind sharing those as content and stuff that I want you to be aware of that I do. Exactly. Now, when somebody on that level starts saying it, then everybody will follow, and it'll become, and what I'm talking about will become, you know, they'll come up with some new phrase, maybe not even use what I keep saying, a multi-niche, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Maybe that'll stick at some point. But everybody will be doing it. Everybody will be doing multi-niche channels and talking about how, you know, I'm not one track minded, mono thinking. I'm all over the place. I do all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm showing you all of my life, and watch it happen. Watch it happen. See. This is the wisdom of these grays. I'm telling y'all, I know what I'm talking about. I've been through this too many other times in life with stuff where people got to, you know, try to tell you in a certain market that there's only one way to do things. That's bull. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. Do you. Whatever your brilliant idea is, and this is mine, to be a multi-niche channel for ONYXCON, and as I say, ONYXCON is a lifestyle, it's gonna win. We're already winning thanks to y'all who are subscribers, 1,000 plus. Yes, and when we get that 3,000, y'all will be able to chime in. When all my subscribers want to say something, y'all can send super chats and stuff when I'm on live like this. It's going to be a wonderful day. That's when we're going to really have some fun up in here when we go live. When y'all can send some funds. I mean, you can send funds now. I mean, you don't have to wait. You can donate anytime at ONYXCON on Venmo, ONYXCON at gmail.com for PayPal, and of course, #ONYXCON for Cash App. You can send funds anytime to support ONYXCON. You ain't got to be waiting around for no, you know. And that's funny to me too, that like people literally let these apps dictate how they give. Like, how many YouTubers have, what's that thing? Oh man, I'm forgetting the name of it. As I was trying to say it so quick, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Damn, what's the name of that thing? They always talking about it. They be always, but. God almighty, I forgot the name. Anyway, it's one of them other little apps that everybody always links their YouTube to or whatever. But what I noticed about that is the only reason they do that is because they want to show, you know, explicit content, and they can do it over there, they can't do it here. But if you ain't, you know, unless you really going down that road, so what? It's just like, do your thing. And then half the time it ain't even really explicit. It's just, you know, YouTube is so particular about certain things, so they can do it over there versus Patreon. That's what I was trying to say. All these people have these Patreons. But my philosophy is this. I looked into Patreon a while back, and I just got too many dadgum apps and stuff. I don't know about you, but I don't like having too much to manage when I'm trying to organize how I do something. I prefer just knowing that, okay, I mean, everybody's gonna take a percentage. Patreon takes a percentage too, okay? We got Facebook, we got Instagram. Instagram takes a percentage. We don't have a whole lot of subscribers on our Instagram, but we have enough that every month, when they don't block us for one post of a sexy cosplayer or something stupid, we can get a little, you know, I call it my comic book money for when I do my comic book reviews. Like literally, it pays for a couple of comics. That's it. That's it. That's all we get out of that. I mean, it's something. I'm not dissing it. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't buy no books. I'd just go in the store, show y'all what's happening, and leave, you know. But with that, I can actually buy some things and give reviews and stuff, which is cool. Very cool. So it's just interesting to see how all that works. Hold tight, I'll be right back. I know I got my one person watching. I got to do these breaks. This is what I say. I need y'all to donate, so I ain't got to be in the car doing all this other stuff. We can just do content, but In the meantime, between time, I gotta take these breaks and come right back. I'll holler. So we're a multi-niche channel. We do a variety of content, and I'm always getting ideas because as an artist, my mind is always bubbling. I got backstock of ideas. It's just some of them I can't do until I'm able to get the finances for it. Some of them I can't do until we got the right tools. Again, finances for it. You know, different mechanical devices and things I need. Like I need a gimbal. I saw one the other day, and this was actually affordable considering what it can do. It's the equivalent of a similar tripod gimbal I saw that whatchamacallit, what's the name of the company? Insta360, which I have a action cam from them, so I know they make quality stuff. Only thing I don't like about mine is, and this is a tip for anybody who does this, if you ever get an action cam or any device like that and it tells you to format that disc, please do not ignore those messages. Because what I found is it'll let you still use it, but at some point that card is going to jam, the memory card is going to jam up on you because you didn't format it to just that one device. It literally, all these companies are so damn possessive, so they want to literally claim your memory card to just it, which is messed up. Because if I had a GoPro, I don't have a GoPro, I just got the Insta, but if I had that too and it fit the same kind of card, it's basically like, nah, all the files on it. It's like Apple and Android or PC versus Mac. It's the same kind of mess. It's like, but those bigger companies I just named, at least for computers, they've gotten smart enough to understand. Look, we can't have it where a customer who owns a Mac gives a friend a flash drive who has a PC. He gets home and he or she cannot use the damn flash drive to retrieve a file because we up here having company wars. The hell with your little corporate war, damn it. What's about the consumers, right? So they've made it where their stuff, is universal, and that's cool. That's the way it should have been way back. It took years for that to become standard, but that is now a standard, and I appreciate that. Why not the same overall? But I think it ought to be law. I think in this country, they ought to just make it law. Stop messing with consumers and beating up people for the decisions we make to go with one company or another. If it's the same type of device, whatever the memory card, whatever the saving device is, if we want to exchange information, we ought to be able to do so, and it ought to be readable on any device. Period. Okay? The hell with all that damn format. They try to make you feel like, well, format, I'm sure there's some super geek that will watch this and say, well, no, it's deeper than that. See, it does have to be done because because geeks always defend the companies. Even if they've never worked for them, every geek friend I have, they defend all of this nonsense. They always like, well, it has to be that way. Because no, it don't have to be that way. You fell for the okie doke. You just feel like you smarter than everybody else because you do this stuff and you like tickering and tackering with all this stuff. Where me, if I get annoyed with it, I'm gonna keep it moving, man. I don't have time for the nonsense. I'm not gonna waste time because that's all it does. It's wasting time. I ain't got no time to be wasted. Let's go. Let's go, damn it. Let's go. Let's get it done. I got no time. Man. So anyway, so that can happen. And I went on that tangent because I was talking about the need for technology and things that we have to have to make the content and make it better and better and better and better. And it does matter. It really does to have this stuff flowing. And so I want to like I said, I want to get this handheld gimbal thing. But I found one on one of those, I don't mind shouting them out. I done got too many cool things from them. They do sell cheap stuff, but they also sell pretty cool stuff that works. It just depends. You have to just be a savvy consumer and watch what you buy on Temu. But yeah, shout out to Temu. I like Temu overall. I used to deal with Wish, but Wish got whack on me. I was like, I went to mess with them one time where I hadn't used it in a while, and I tried to come back to it, and it tried to deny me access, no matter how many times I put in my code or rebuilt a new identity but I was just like, you know what? I ain't got, again, you play with my time, we done. We are done. Ain't nobody playing with the clock. Life is precious. Goodbye. It's too much competition. I love when there's competition. And they ain't got nothing on Temu. Temu's the bomb. It's the bomb. It's got everything they got and then some. Yo, it's hot out there too, y'all. Got me another order. I love when they hit back to back when you ain't got Yeah. So, you know, it shows like, you know, and you can see, I always say, man, every time I see, it holds a mirror to our society. So like every time I see crazy stuff happening with, you know, the downfall of the economy, the wars that are going on in the world, the advancements of technology and how AI is taking over in good and bad ways, and how people are misusing it and using it well, and on and on and on and on. That's cyberpunk, like, and it's the disparity, the dystopic future vision. But in the way cyberpunk is done, it's like there's the worst of it, and then there's areas where things still flourish. People still have these mega high rises and all this wealth, and people are so concerned with their outfit, no matter what they gotta walk through to get it. You know, they walking through straight up gang wars and drug battles and everything, but they just happy to get out of a store with a nice new outfit that's overpriced, and just it's like everything that's going on. It's literally a reflection of 2024 in 2077 sci-fi fantasy. You know what I mean? So I love the genre, and so because of that, I had often said, I want to do a comparison of Night City, which is the town that's in the concept of the game and in the original game too. And it was named that because there was a founder of the city whose last name was Knight, and so they named it Night City after his vision. And it was created after a major, what they call the corporate wars. Sound familiar to real society? As they say, corporations really are the ones that rule governments and control stuff because of the monies they put behind everything that gets decided and lobby for whatever. And so after this major corporate war, society is all, you know, broken down in most places, but for those who have and the have not, it's a very solid line of you either got it or you ain't. And because so many folks don't have it, don't have the financial wherewithal, may not have access to proper education to understand how to function in the society, because there's different types of education, but I'm talking about the kind that makes you know how to play the game at that higher level and make that bigger money, whether you agree with the system or not. Is, you know, it's that kind of constant conversation in the genre. And so they have a lot of you know, of course, with all those disparities I just mentioned, of course, you got drug problems, you got alcoholism, you got homelessness, you got gangs, you got tons of issues with gangs. And matter of fact, the gangs pretty much run the society from an underbelly state, so much to the point where it's like corporatization of gangs. Like in the game, you had this one called the Tiger Claws, which is like the Yakuza. Okay, they literally are basically the Yakuza. Okay, the Japanese mafia, and they run a whole section of Night City. Like all of Japantown is pretty much their turf. And they battle constantly with everybody who borders them, like all gangs typically do for their turfs. Like any border areas, their immediate rivalry, and sometimes their ally, with different issues going on. The only thing that thing too, is what I would say about the game is it's almost spot on with the way that kind of stuff happens in real life. But the only thing about it that's a little off for me is that they don't show enough of separate factions within the same gang structure. Like they'll have a different type of like, for instance, there's one called the Voodoo Boys, and they're supposed to be Haitian in most of their affiliates, people who are members or whatever. But there's two different versions of the Voodoos. You got the Voodoos that are in what they call Dogtown, and then you got the Voodoos that are over in Pacifica. Pacifica borders right there. It's like Dogtown, Pacifica, Dogtown, and Dogtown is like the last stop of everything. It's the absolute worst area. If you were comparing it to 1980s New York, it would be the Bronx, you know, the complete rundown. And so I wanted to do a comparison of what would Night City compare to modern day Atlanta. Neighborhood comparison to the energy of modern neighborhoods, keyword modern neighborhoods in Atlanta. Atlanta has changed so much, and it's constantly changing. So like even by the time I make this video, something could have been built overnight from the time I posted that would change why I compared that area to a certain area in the video game and Night City the way it's depicted in the game. Because just for example, and only folks who've either been to Atlanta and know Atlanta well and not just Atlanta, the city, but also surrounding suburbs and neighborhoods, because that is also Atlanta. Because I always tell people there's Atlanta and there's, I'll say, Metro ATL. Metro ATL. ATL is a spirit. Okay, it's an energy of being close enough to within relative proximity, work-wise, municipality-wise, as to what affects the city. Like, the airport is not in the city of Atlanta. Atlanta's airport is part of the same county as the city of Atlanta. Yes, that is Fulton County, but the Atlanta airport is surrounded by College Park, East Point, and Hapeville. Those three surround the airport. That ain't got nothing to do with skyscrapers downtown and all that, but at the same time, yes, it does have everything to do with that, because certain businesses, certain, just the workforce, quite frankly, most importantly, the people who make the skyscrapers and everything function, the folk who get on the expressway every day and go to work up and down all around 285, the main expressway that circles around not only the city area, but also the other main core metro area. And then you have the outer ring. So like they basically say in Atlanta nowadays, with people who are transplants created this, because we didn't used to talk this way, but they talk about OTP and ITP. What the what? Real Atlanta folk was not saying this in 90-something, before the damn Olympics and stuff, and when everybody wanted to come here. We were not talking about no inside the perimeter and outside the perimeter, but that's how people from other places try to define Atlanta. They try to be on some, well, I'm ITP, I'm inside the perimeter, so I'm real Atlanta. Hush, 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 hush. Then you got folk who grew up here who want to get all extra about what's real Atlanta and all that stuff. And it's like, again, my biggest joke to anybody, I say, look, go in the bathroom, cut on the faucet. You got running water, where you think that water came from? It's the city of Atlanta water. Where in the city is there that much water to supply all this water for this city? You know where the water comes from? The water comes from freaking Lake Lanier, okay? Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier that was flooded by the Army Corps of Engineers to make the lake, like all the other lakes in Georgia. Every lake in the state of Georgia was created, man-made, the big lakes. I'm not talking about giant ponds. I'm talking about real lakes. Were created by the Army Corps of Engineers. And it's a long history standing that people understand. They try to cover it up. They don't want to talk about it now. But there was a black township that got flooded to make part of what became Lake Lanier. Okay. Because they didn't care nothing about black lives. And we still dealing with that issue, but there was especially a thing back then during direct segregation times when that happened. So, but that is the source of water for the city of Atlanta. That's right. Now, other areas have their own water reservoirs and, lakes, man-made lakes that are still like man-made, but they're big reservoirs. They call them lake whatever. There's a bunch of those all around. But that main source of water for the city, your water ain't in the city limits. Your airport ain't in the city limits. So how the hell does the city function with either one of them? Just them two things. I can keep going and on. But that alone would shut down Atlanta as a city. Completely. Not to mention the railroad system that built Atlanta. Okay? And that don't just run through the city. That goes all around the nation to connect the goods and assets that come to Atlanta, whether they are on the back of a airplane or on the back of a train. Okay? And then let's not even get into the ports. You want to talk about the ports. Now we got to get into Savannah and Brunswick and other coastal areas that supply all of the products. Okay? You want to get real talk, or you just want to be kids all day? Tell you what, that ain't what we do. About that long enough in a lifetime, your school will be renamed, redistricted, okay? And the next time you go vote, because you better vote, you need to vote, you should vote, okay? Then, it could be a whole nother situation because of So So yeah, things will change, y'all. Things always do, and that's the other and American society, corporatization to a few, but if you ain't understanding your place in society and how to move ahead, you never get nowhere. And it's just, man, it's so layered it's a layered metaphor for real life. So, like I said, I want to do one where I compare neighborhoods in Atlanta to neighborhoods in the game, and it won't just be based on. It'll be based on a lot of different factors. It'll be based on the ethnic neighborhoods that are depicted in the game and how that reflects neighborhoods in reality in Atlanta. It'll be related to crime and how certain areas are worse than others, and what's considered the nice neighborhood, the bad neighborhood. The gang activity where stuff may exist, but it may not be as heated in some areas as it is in others. Like you say, the block is hot back in the day. We're gonna analyze it from a cyberpunk perspective. Like I say, comparative analysis. And just to give a brief example for anybody who plays the game, like if I were going to label an area of Metro ATL and compare it to where the Glen is, which is one of the Latin communities where there's a strong Mexican community, and there's other people who live there too, but it's mostly Mexican, and they have a lot of gang activity with what they call the Valentinos. So I would compare that to Chambly. Chambly on that, the parts of Gwinnett, Chambly, and parts of even Cobb. I'll somehow tie all that together on the map and make that like that's the Glen, that's the area where the Valentinos would be. You would have that bordered by, like it is bordered by, you got Pacifica kind of out the way. So there's a lot of Caribbean community up that way too when you head north. So when you think about the Voodoo Boys and groups like that, or the Animals, which dominate in Pacifica, they always fighting with the Voodoos and all that stuff. And then you also got the Scabs. Scabs be everywhere. The Scabs are just, they're a mostly Russian gang that trades. They're one of the gangs I can't stand the most in the game. Not because of the ethnicity. I ain't got nothing against good people from wherever they from. Okay, let me make that clear as I'm saying this about the game. I'm just talking about what goes on in the game. But they just what they do in the game, they are horrible because they're body snatchers. They be, and this happens. People who abduct people in modern day real society, killing people for their damn body parts, selling their kidneys and other organs and stuff. And this stuff happens, y'all. That's why the missing and murdered list on the back of milk cartons is real. It's like, and Atlanta got a huge problem with that. And child abduction and all kind of forced sex trade stuff going on and everything. It's bad. It's bad. And all of that happens in the video game as an example of how this society is going. You know what I mean? It's real twisted. It's real twisted stuff. I would say, like with the other thing I just mentioned, you think about, okay, there's a gang in the game called the Mox. And the Mox is basically the result of years and years of prostitutes or other sex workers being manipulated and pimped by different groups, especially the Tiger Claws, who run a district where they have a huge red light district, probably the biggest one in the whole game, where, as they call them in the game, joy toys. What's the word I want to use? Solicit their customers and whatnot. So there's a red light district, and I'm trying to remember the name of that street. Oh man, I can see the sign and can't think of the name. I can see the way it looks in the area in my memory. But anyway, that area right there and how that is, that could be a lot of places in Atlanta. That wouldn't be one area, but if I had to try and make it one area, I would say that would be like, it's hard to say nowadays because they don't. One thing I will say about the way things have evolved in Atlanta, it ain't like when I was growing up, Stewart Avenue, which is now Metropolitan Ave, would have been what I'm talking about. And they haven't changed it enough that it's still messed up over there. It's still a lot of development needs to happen, and it's run down. And all that. But the neighborhood that sits next to the street, like right off of the main street, Metropolitan, they got all kind of nice gentrified neighborhoods and stuff. But then you also got really gully main street activity going on that's not good. You know, and depending on what side of the street and how many blocks down, you know, it could be some drama, and then there's a nice part, and then some drama, and then a nice part, that kind of stuff. So, but when I was growing up in the 80s, boy, I tell you, it was bad. It was the equivalent of what people say about LA when they talk about Figueroa. And if you know LA, you know what I mean by that. It was like that. Like, folk just, you know, streetwalkers was walking. It was bad. Like, I remember there was a not Publix, because Publix didn't exist back then. There was a Kroger, and I'll never forget going there with my grandfather. I was in like middle school, and just imagine you're an elderly man with your grandkids. You telling them, you know, we were old enough to stay in the car, and he told me, you know, lock the doors. I'll be right back. So he locked the doors, keep them locked, don't talk to nobody. I'll be right back. And he went in. As soon as he got out the door, these girls was on him. Hey, daddy, what's up? What you need? He's like, no, baby, I don't need nothing. Just get out of my way. I'm going to the grocery store. It was like that. And then they were all in the window talking about, y'all cute. Like, It was bad, y'all. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. You know, tell your granddaddy to see us when he get back. I was like, oh, no. It was bad. It was bad, y'all. It was real bad. But that's how it was, man. When all that crack and other crap hit the neighborhoods, stuff is terrible. It still is, like I say, in some places. So you add that up with the way things could reflect that in the way they do it in the game. Like I say, I'm just gonna make a comparison to just make the point of, you know, just a creative comparison, and also analysis of how, you know, it's like I say, it holds the mirror. Like, the game is 10 times worse than reality. Okay, but how much far off is the game from reality if I can relate it to this? Where we going? What we doing, y'all? Can we not see the importance of voting better? Okay, all right. It's like, we can't tell you how to vote as a nonprofit organization, but I'm a damn sure tell you to vote. And I can speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? I can speak for myself. Views and opinions expressed by yours truly do not necessarily reflect those of ONYXCON's affiliates, associates, etc. I can speak for myself in saying I know who is going to be on my ballot. I know I'm rolling with her. I know I'm down for her. I just know I'm all about her. Okay, that's all I'm saying about it. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause she, okay, respects the arts. She has a track record of trying to at least leave a doorway cracked towards the progress we need to advance in different ways. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. If you read between the lines all you want, do what you want with it. And if you're on the other side of that mentality, well, you're just on the wrong side of history, but you'll find out in time. Y'all had y'all turn. We are not going back. Damn right. So that's all I got to say for y'all right now, man. I got to get off here and make some more money. Hope y'all learned something. Like I said, that content is coming. I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to put that together. Bear with me and be ready for it when it drops. It's going to be a interesting, analytical, edutainment-based ride. Cyberpunk, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Cyberpunk 2077's Night City versus Atlanta or something like that. I don't know. I got to come up with a good name, something catchy, something that's going to really jerk the audience with the thumbnail. And I'm going to make the thumbnail hard as hell, too. You know, I got to make that crazy. So people be like, ooh, what is that? Yeah, I'm going to get y'all. I'm going to get you. All right, y'all. Holla.